Hello friends, time for a new video. This time we have on the bench a Luxman CL-32 valve or tube preamplifier from, when was this made? From the late 70s, early 80s. And this one presumably developed by Tim de Parravicini during his time at Luxman. But an interesting thing that I want to talk to you about today is capacitors. The Luxman CL-32 is a beautifully laid out amplifier with vertically mounted tubes here at the back. That plugs into tube sockets. That's mounted on a vertically oriented PC board that in turn again is mounted to the main PC board that sits on a chassis frame. It's one of those beautiful units where you can take off the bottom cover and you can work on the solder side from the underside and from obviously the top side. So no nightmares in taking any boards or anything out. This unit came in with excessive noise on the phono stage. The line stage, nice and quiet like it's supposed to be. But the phono stage had excessive noise, and not just blatant hiss, but a lot of low frequency rumble. A noise which I like to refer to as a shore break noise. It sounds like waves crashing on the shore. So a lot of low frequency content and high frequency content. So it's mixed all over the show. And for those who maybe already have noticed here, is that the capacitors have been replaced, the resistors have been replaced in the phono section, and what they call the equalizer amplifier. But let's just wind back. When the unit came in, there was a couple of caps already replaced. These big VMAs were replaced, and those small power supply caps over there. But the rest was stock. The first thing that I noticed with the client sitting here by me, I noticed that the tantalums were never replaced. So I've done that, and that improved the noise performance a little bit, but not drastically. And then I said to him, he must rather than just leave the preamp with me so I can just dig in and really have a look. And I just had a suspicion then that it would be the best to change out the carbon resistors, the original carbon resistors. So I've done that as well, and then replaced these film capacitors at the back as well. Let me just show you. I've got the little bag of tricks here with all the old stuff that came out. The pilot lamp also died in the time it was here by me. That's been replaced with a warm white LED, dropper resistor, so that's functioning well, and I guess it will last as long as this preamp will last now. But yes, these little capacitors have been replaced. And the main thing I want to talk about is that, and this is a pet peeve of mine, is that when a technician does selective component replacing, like only these 4 and those 2 VMA caps have been replaced, and then those 4 electrolytics there, that I always say if 1 or 2 goes, the rest are bound to follow. So just go the full way, and at least in the audio block, to replace all the film capacitors, and especially tantalum capacitors. Do not leave a tantalum cap and say, yeah, well, it's still working, it will be fine. They just go out of value very quickly after X amount of decades. It's a fact. They don't last forever, and they don't have a gradual taper of function. The line literally goes like that, boom, where it just drops down, where they either go short circuit or you know, an extremely low capacitance value, but mostly they go short circuit. And if a tantalum is located in a power supply circuit, they will cause a short circuit, and they will either damage a component that's ahead of the capacitor, or they will heat up and burn, they will toast, they might even combust. So that's a very, very important thing. The old tantalums, get rid of them. There's nothing elegant about them. If this thing just want to focus, hey, come on now. There we go. So just replace them. And I found an imposter. There was, it was one of those that's a relatively new cap, and the one channel, and one of those in the other channel. So that's also silly. Why do that? Replace both of them. Then these are low inductance resistors that the Japanese used to love to use in higher end audio equipment. Yamaha also use these. But they go bad. They go noisy, they go intermittent. And these ones, I've got the circuit diagram here. Those 270K resistors were the anode loading resistors. That was just load shedding. Happy days. That's the anode load resistors of the very first triode in the phono section. And if this resistor goes bad, it goes noisy. And this noise imprints itself on the signal, and that gets passed down to the next stage and the next, and it ends up pumping out through your speakers. So, we initially, when we and the client first spoke about this preamp, I said to him, please just swap the tubes. Check if it's not the tubes that's noisy. Let's just first eliminate that, which he did after a bit of protesting, but which he did. And it was not the tubes that was noisy. It's now evident that it was this bunch of components. And this preamp now sounds absolutely fantastic. It is a great circuit design. It is it starts with a triode circuit, classic triode, feeding into a secondary triode, and then that triode again feeds into a SSRP mu follow type circuit. It uses there we go, sorry, this is the detail, this is small, but anyway, it does an active feedback for the RIAA correction through that little cluster there, all the way through back to the cathode of the very first stage. Classic design. This is just beautifully classic. It gives you very low distortion, gives you a very accurate RIAA curve, and an excellent performing stage. So yeah, this is what makes this preamp great. That, and then interesting enough, the power supply is a beautiful CR type arrangement. No solid state regulation whatsoever there. This works. This gets used in so many audio applications, so never discount a circuit like that. The heaters are regulated, and that's lovely. That's one way to get your tube circuitry very quiet. Just simple regulation, don't overcomplicate it. They could have opted here for an adjustable regulator, but they've done a discrete circuit. That's also fine, it's perfect. And it's got a little mute circuit that mutes the outputs for the prevention of pops and grumbles and all kinds of noises on the output when the thing warms up. And it's just lovely. Okay, thank you for watching.